yeah, we have a special sit-down interview with New Japan star Aaron Henare here on the Shining Wizards Wrestling Podcast. Aaron, I apologize for my hoarse voice. I spent the weekend yelling and screaming for your brethren in the United Empire at the.
That's good.
I was man. You guys hit gold with Aussie Open.
They're great, man. And whatever it was like in Philadelphia, was it Philadelphia last night, right?
Last night was Philly, yeah.
Times that by about 5 and put it in a Japan Tokyo sumo hall, and that was like one of the best reactions to a match I've ever seen.
They are unbelievable, man. You guys hit gold with Aussie Open and United Empire. I spent a lot of time yelling and screaming for the good guys, booing the bad guys, and I'm paying the price this morning. But it's well worth it because I get to spend time with Aaron Henare here from
good.
United Empire.
Yeah, I've been holding the fort down in America. I've been trying to nurse my body after that last 2 tours, New Japan Cup and Sakura Genesis, which is a rough 2 tours, but I mean that's what I'm about. I'm the tough guy in the group, so that's what I do.
Yeah, you definitely are, and I think it showed. You mentioned New Japan Cup, the huge win over Shingo Takagi, which led to your unbelievable, nearly 40-minute ultimate triad match with Shingo on the road to Sakura Genesis. Can you take us through that? Because that was, I do a couple different podcasts, so we do the Bread Club on Fightful Overbook, me and Kieran, we definitely think that 2023 is going to be the breakout year for Aaron Henare. We kind of saw a glimpse of it last year with the huge win in the G1 over Tanahashi.
Yeah.
But now this win with Shingo and this showing at the Ultimate Triad, plus the victory at Sakura Genesis, a 6-man tag action. I mean, you are on the upswing.
Well, bro, to be completely honest, I thought it was about 3 years too late. So the first wave of motivation that helped me there was 2020, when it was announced that it was supposed to be me and Ishii in the main event in the New Japan Cup at Korakuen Hall. But obviously all of those plans got cut. All the matches got finished, got cancelled. I got sent back to New Zealand for a whole year. So it sort of like threw a spanner in the works, so to speak. So everything you saw in that New Japan Cup, I think, just personally, and I'm sure like a lot of old followers of mine thought the same, that it was 3 years too late. Not too late, 3 years late.
You've had your share, and I don't think people really understand the dynamic of working in Japan, and when something like a global pandemic happens, you don't really have a choice but to go home, and that really derails whatever steam you've got going for yourself.
It wasn't just that. I'm not sure if you heard, but New Zealand had the toughest lockdown and quarantine rules in the entire world. And I had to complete 9 2-week stints in quarantine in both Japan and New Zealand for every time I came back and forth, which was more than any other athlete I know, including the UFC fighters. So both Japan and New Zealand were the roughest countries when it came to lockdowns and when it came to quarantines, and I was stuck between both of them.
Come on, Nelly, what are you doing? Get out of here.
Yes, up the cat.
She is a constant on whatever podcast.
Love animals, bro.
The start stop for you, it seems to be a trend that we're seeing in your career, and by nobody's fault. Obviously you suffered that Achilles injury when you first got to New Japan, then the pandemic. Now you're finally off and running. But what does that do for you as an athlete, where you can't get the ball rolling because there's things out of your control?
I mean, the big thing is patience. I'm not a very patient person, but those sorts of things. So like the Achilles injury, the pandemic. When I came back from the pandemic, it was a neck injury, and then last year was the first year that I could really start gathering steam. Which people don't really understand, and they don't know. New fans don't know about the old injuries, plus the young lion stuff, plus all the earning your stripes and not getting an excursion. But I came up the hard way, and that's why I'm here. That's why I'm still surviving, when I've seen a lot of people just come and go and give up. So they don't get all of the gold as soon as they think they should, and then they give up and go somewhere else. I've seen that so many times since I first came here.
And it seems like New Japan had an eye for you when you first came up. You did a couple World Tag Leagues, and they put you with Tanahashi, which might be is one of the biggest compliments. I think they clearly saw something in you. How important was it for you when you got the opportunity, not once but twice, to work with him as your
Oh
tag
man.
in the tag leagues?
So I skipped back to when I was 15. I got suspended from school, and I got back home. The first thing I did was put on wrestling, which at the time was TNA Final Resolution, and it was Tanahashi was the first match that I tuned into. So just from that history in my mind, working my way up through the dojo to becoming his tag partner. Everybody knows he's like the big star in Japan, so it was massive to have that opportunity, and it's something that people like Juice got as well. Juice Robinson got the same what do you call it, opportunity as well. So it's quite big. It's sort of like we see star potential in you. Let's put you with a star to show you how to do it. And I mean, since I did tag with him, no matter what happened joining United Empire, since I did tag with him, my career has got a lot better.
Yeah, and I think you have all the potential in the world. We're just start again. If you're not familiar with Aaron Henare, he's been part of the New Japan world since about 2016,
Yeah.
and he's always been on the up. But now we're full bore here with the United Empire, the stuff with Shingo, the huge win at the New Japan Cup. How much did it mean to you to get the opportunity to become part of the United Empire? Because we see the factions in New Japan and they kind of cycle through. It was Chaos, Bullet Club, the Suzuki Goon, and now it seems like the tide is turning and we have Chaos. Bullet Club is going through a transformation. And at the top of the hill is the United Empire, Will and Aussie Open and yourself. I mean, you got Jeff Cobb, Great O'Con. You guys are a force to reckon with. What did it mean to you to get that opportunity to become part of such an amazing faction?
It was a career saver, to be honest. After that Tanahashi tag team, the match opportunities sort of fell off, so I didn't really get anything after that. And then Will like called me to a secret dinner at one of these Portuguese restaurants. He was like, "Hey man," he came to me and he was the one that said, "I know you could be a star. Like you just need to work on some things, and I could teach you that stuff." And he's like, I didn't realize how much of a genius that guy was in the ring and in the business. Because everybody on Twitter, they like to bag him and think he's dumb, but that guy ain't dumb. You don't become the best in the world by being dumb. You don't get like a truckload of money by being dumb. He knows what he's doing. And another proof that he's not dumb, he's put together the best team in the world, the most active team, and we're the only team that are active in the UK, Australia, New Zealand, America, Japan, every single major wrestling territory. United Empire is at the top of each of it. That's what a lot of people don't understand. He's called Kingpin for a reason. But yeah, it was a real career changer.
You don't throw up the horn
baby.
for nothing. That means something. Hey, let me ask you a question because I was curious because we talked about Philly and DC. Excuse me. You're obviously going through a healing process, getting your body back to 100% for this Road to Dontaku tour. But how does that work? When do you have a say in if does New Japan come to you and say, "Hey, we're doing these dates in the States. Would you like to come?" Do you have a say in that, or do they already kind of have that side?
So they sort of understand that we're the preferences of where we like to be. They understand that Will likes to go back home to the UK. They understand that the Aussie boys like to travel around. Me and Jeff, we stay in Japan most of the time. They know we like staying here. I've got a place in Tokyo City right now. So I like staying around here just because flying back and forth, direct 9-hour, 10-hour flights to New Zealand suck. And COVID sort of made that even worse for me. But we have a say, but the office knows where each of us like to stay. So it's usually Jeff, Okan, and myself that stay in Japan. All the other boys go out. I think Akira's here as well, to be honest.
Yeah, he wasn't on the tour. I didn't see.
Yeah. So I think he's traveling around Japan because they know, like, if we want to, most of us like staying here in Japan and traveling. But Dan Maloney is another one that's coming up. He's the newest member of the United Empire, and he's British Pakistani. So another flag to add to the United Empire.
How does that process go? Does the whole United Empire get together and decide who the next member is going to be? Does Will?
I think most of us have been around the world enough. So I saw Dan Maloney last year in May when I wrestled at Rev Pro. I wrestled RKJ, Ricky Knight Jr., Paige's nephew, I believe. But I saw Dan Maloney then, and I messaged Will. I was like, "Hey, man, this guy was the best guy on the entire show." And the guys like TJP and Jeff, like those just guys that everybody knows that have been around. If you haven't heard of Aussie Open in the last year, you have no idea about anything in the world of wrestling. And you see what they've been accomplishing the last few weeks.
Yeah, you really. If you have never watched an Aussie, if this is your first time tuning into the Shining Wizards and you're familiar, you want to get familiar with Aaron Henare, obviously look through his catalog, especially the triad match that they just had against Shingo Takagi. But then check out the rest of the United Empire. All the tag matches. Saturday night, it was Motor City Machine Guns, Okada Tanahashi, and Aussie Open. Aussie Open came out on top. And then last night they had a banger with Big Tom Ishii and Lio Rush. Unbelievable stuff.
Oh, yeah? Oh, because the match got changed, didn't it? I think.
I think Tanahashi broke a rib, so he was out, and TJP's flight got delayed, so he couldn't be there.
Okay, I didn't know that. This is all news to me. I don't really read much on Twitter, so.
Yeah, they told when we got to the building, they told us obviously, the chance to see Tanahashi in the States is huge if you're familiar with his work. So New Japan's always very clear about what's going on. So they did like a meet and greet with him in the afternoon. If you wanted to still meet Tanahashi, but he didn't wrestle last night.
Oh wow!
But I got to see Aussie Open, so I was thrilled.
It's good that all the restrictions for travel are lifted, so that you can see these guys now.
Yeah, it's exciting, and I think it works both ways, right? On your end now, you guys are, because the gates are open. You don't know who's going to show up in Japan.
Yeah, for the last year, I did quite a few dates in America. We did the LA, the Hollywood one. We did Washington. We did Philadelphia. And there was one more. I can't remember. There's one more on that leg that we did last year.
Was Massachusetts on the leg?
No. Sorry, no. It was AEW. My bad. It was AEW.
Oh yeah, that's right. You did do AEW.
Yeah, so I was supposed to have a match there, but I think somebody got injured. There was like a ankle injury. And then they ended up flying me over. All I did was rampage tackle Trent Beretta and then corner the boys, second the boys, the tag boys. So big flight, big fat payday for a rampage tackle. All good, bro.
They can't beat that. So you're from New Zealand, yes? Yeah.
So I'm native. I'm not sure. Most Americans just call all of us Samoan, right?
I don't know if there's. If you say you're from New Zealand, then I say you're a New Zealander.
So I never say I'm New Zealander. I say I'm Māori. So we're like the indigenous people of New Zealand. As you can see here, right at this Māori flag. But so it's essentially Samoans from Samoa, Tongans from Tongan, Māoris from New Zealand.
Māori,
yeah. So
did I say that right?
You're a fan of The Mandalorian?
I'm not.
No, okay. There's a famous actor called Timuera Morrison, and he's Māori as well.
See the guy,
Taika Waititi, the director. He's Māori.
Yeah, okay. So you've obviously grew up in New Zealand and you wrestled there, and now you've wrestled in Japan. And you lived there, and you've been to the States. The cultural difference for you, going from New Zealand to Japan, was there a big culture shock for you?
To be honest, being Māori, the biggest culture shock was coming from New Zealand to America, rather than New Zealand to Japan, because Polynesian and Japanese culture is a lot closer than Polynesian and Western culture.
Okay.
So the whole dynamics of your senpai, so your seniors and your juniors, it's exactly the same as in our culture. So it wasn't too much of a culture shock. I think the language was probably the biggest culture shock, and living in the dojo system. So everybody, when I was there's about 12 guys all living together, all cooking, all cleaning, all training, everything from the morning to the night. You do everything together, which was pretty cool. It was one of the exclusive things that I've done that not many foreigners do get to do.
Did you make the what is the soup?
The chanko.
Yeah, chanko. Yes. Did you get to make chanko?
Yeah, so everybody that comes through the system has to make it. So everybody, you've got like a day, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. I had no idea that Sunday was the only day we got off, and I was the Chanko guy on Sunday. So I didn't have any rest days the entire time, purely because of ignorance. I didn't know how their schedules work. But yeah, they teach you how to make it. They teach you how to make 7 different recipes. and you have to sit there all day. And if any senpais come, you have to cook it, serve it to them, and then they eat it, wash their dishes, do their laundry. But that's something like the level of respect that you have to earn in order to come through the system. Most of the foreigners now just come in, they do good on shows, and then they get a contract that way. But when you come up the system, it's like the whole regimented Japanese culture, samurai culture style, which was pretty much the most fulfilling part of this whole journey.
Yeah, of course, to get the respect of your peers and do it the right way. I know you went through the dojo system, and Jay White did.
Yeah.
I think Finley did as well. I got
David Finley and
my voice
Hikuleo, I
by
think.
yelling at Finley all day yesterday.
I mean, I've always thought he's the most underrated guy in pro wrestling. But now everybody's seeing it. I think it's only going to be a matter of time before people start really, really taking him seriously if they're not already.
And now you, of course, in the United Empire camp, you have to keep an eye on them. They recruited Clark Connors over the weekend, which is a huge get for them.
Yeah. He's good, man. He's quite good. He's quite tough. Great body as well.
So you guys keep tabs on what's going on over there.
Oh, we got eyes everywhere, man. I mean, in terms of the wrestling, like you have to be aware of what's going on. If you're not aware of all the guys coming in, you're not aware of all the people overseas. For example, on the London New Japan shows that they did, or the US shows on Strong that they do, you have to keep tabs on everybody because everybody's watching you. And it's not like the moment you relax is the moment somebody takes over. Like this cat, for instance.
I said Nelly cannot. She's all about Aaron Henare.
She's good.
She's not looking.
Trust animals over humans, man. They know. Like when a dog doesn't like somebody, you know something's up with that guy.
That's it. She doesn't. Don't hit her with the streets of rage, though.
No, we're on the same team, man. It's all good. She could be the United Empire's cat.
I don't know how Nelly just got inducted into the United Empire. I'm a little hot about that. I'm not gonna lie.
That's good though.
Now? I always ask this because we had Lance Archer on the show once, and he told us about the raw horse meat.
Yeah.
Are you a fan?
I'm pretty open with all meat, to be honest. I'm well known in the locker room for enjoying organ meats. So in Japan, there's a place that I go to. All the Japanese fans know me as the king of gyukaku style. There's a yakiniku bar where you could get liver, you could get intestines, you could get like chicken hearts and things like that. I'm a native, man. I love eating that stuff.
That's horrifying. Intestines.
Savage. No.
Intestines? That's a little.
Yeah, it's quite good, and it's like organ meats are really high in like the B vitamins. And the vitamins that are real like nutritious and help your recovery and sleep and things like that. That's what a lot of people don't realize.
Maybe I should be listening to you and just look at you. You're pretty diesel, bro.
It's the black shirt's making me look leaner, but I've been bulking recently, trying to. Because if I lose too much weight, the way I wrestle, you can't survive at that level when you're 60 kilograms or 70. like too light.
Yeah, you're built like a ship brick house, man. Man, you and Shingo running into each other is like two Mack trucks hitting each other.
Man, it felt like it. I didn't. You actually mentioned the match earlier, and I forgot to say, the whole week before that, I had bronchitis and was struggling to breathe, but I couldn't pull out of the match because it was the first championship match I've ever had. So I couldn't say, can we schedule it for another night? No. So that was 38 minutes with bronchitis. And the next morning, so I haven't said this, shouldn't really say this, but I went to the doctor the next morning and had to get an inhaler just to be able to breathe.
That's to know that now. That makes me want to go back and watch that match again.
Yeah.
You look.
Watch my mouth opening, breathing. Those parts were literally me just trying to stay alive, you know.
Because I know there's people are kind of sometimes the king of pro wrestling title. You're used to Yano's shenanigans, but I think Shingo's brought it up a level.
Yeah.
I said
it in my backstage comments. I said anything that guy touches, he makes it mean something. anybody, whether he's in the ring with Okada, whether he's in the ring with a young lion, anybody, he makes it mean something. He did the same with the Never title. And to be honest, like I was always wanting the Never title, but since Shingo, the title sort of fizzled out and nobody really thinks about it anymore. But the KPW has sort of replaced that level, you know?
Yeah, really, I can't believe you had bronchitis and you went 40 minutes.
Yeah. I'll send you my heart rate during the day and after the match. It was 102 resting after the match. That's how exhausted I was. It was just like, yeah, scary.
And
But
you
I
did,
mean, when you go 40 minutes with Shingo, you can't really, with or without bronchitis, you're going to be fucking exhausted. Sorry,
that's
I don't know
scary.
if we're
No,
allowed to
you're
swear.
good. You're good. No, you're good. You can curse all you want. And then it's remarkable to see that you continue to get, like 4 more matches on that road to back to back.
And then the match after that was against Ishii. I was like, oh shit, they're feeding me to the dogs. But it's good. Ishii's another, he's the one who sort of, that strong style. My early single matches were with Ishii. If your fans haven't seen the first singles match between me and Ishii, go watch it. It's another one of those Korakuen tough guy, bad motherfucker matches.
It's fun to go back and look at the beginning of your career to see where you are now, and also to see like there's matches of you and a very young David Finlay and you and a young Master Watto. It's fun to see the growth because there is a huge difference.
Yeah, that's one of the big things in Japan is that the fans aren't just watching one match, they're watching your entire career, which is why careers are so long in Japan compared to the Western guys. And it's a reason why if you wrestle in Japan, you have a job for life because they take care of you on everything. And you're always there. As long as you're putting it in, they'll give you as much back.
Yeah, it's definitely a different if you become a watcher of New Japan Pro Wrestling, you can tell the fans are invested in every match, every guy, and it's not just what story they're working on now. It's where they've been, where they're going. It's always the most intriguing part for me as a fan. I love it because the story.
No, it's great. To me, I think of it like an anime. Like when you remember, like your Dragon Ball, for instance, he starts off as a little kid, he gets a teenager, gets a wife, gets a kid, and then the story just progresses from there all the way until when he dies, and then when he dies again, and then when he's like 50 something in the storyline now, it's sort of like that to me.
So we're on the road to Dontaku, and you guys have a couple stops at the big Hirooki Goto 20th anniversary show.
Yeah.
Which from a fan's perspective is amazing. And then maybe as a wrestler too. I mean, you said you watched Tanahashi on Impact.
Yeah. So those guys like Goto and Shingo, those guys that really represent the Japanese spirit and the Japanese warrior style, which in wrestling terms means strong style. Those were the guys that I looked up to. Those are the guys that I studied, and those are the guys that I had more matches with. Not so many TV matches apart from G1, but I've had a few singles matches with Goto on some house shows. Most notably in Okinawa, we had like quite a good match down there. A sold out Okinawa show. I think that was pre-pandemic though, 2019. It would have been just before the pandemic. Yeah, but he's another top guy, and Mia, his hometown's actually my wife's hometown. So
nice.
Let's go.
And then you get, as a fan and a peer, you get to wrestle on his 20th anniversary show. How much does that mean to you?
Yeah, it's great. Like, although there's a little bit of fear in there because the 20th anniversary show of Makabe is when I snapped my Achilles. So it's a little bit of a
we don't want to go there.
Superstition there, but I think it's been good. I love those country towns in Japan are really the real crux of Japan. Tokyo's sort of like a city metropolitan where you have people from all over, but those Japanese towns, local towns, are representative more of what Japan actually is.
Now, I know you've done some of the, and I'm going to butcher it, and I apologize. I know you've worked some of the New Japan Tamashi events.
Yeah, perfect pronunciation. Perfect.
Okay, good. I'm terrible at the English language. It's just, I don't know how I have a podcast. Well, how important is it for you being from the New Zealand area that New Japan has decided with Bad Luck Fale to kind of start their own dojo in New Zealand?
Oh, bro. So I came from that dojo originally. So well, I started training with Fale before he started the dojo, but I was the first student to actually train in the dojo when it was sussed. It was me and Hikuleo were the first two guys there. So to see where it started from a little shed in one of the poorest areas in New Zealand. Now it's like massive, and it's expanded to boxing, kickboxing, gymnastics, bodybuilding, things like that. But seeing this, all the opportunities that all of these Australian and New Zealanders have that I didn't have back when I first started is pretty amazing. It's like a not a cheat code, but at least they have an avenue where they could go down. Because I had to train with Fale in my spare time and then do the tryout in Japan, pay for everything myself, and then wait until they had an answer for me 1.5 years later. Whereas now they could just get in line, do the tryout, and then get a show. Like, for example, the Adelaide show that just happened, they did a tryout for that show for the wrestlers to have an opportunity. And then they got that opportunity a few weeks later. So they didn't have to do all the as much work.
Right.
They still had to prove themselves, but they still got that opportunity to work New Japan Tamashi. And then you get guys like Goto, Shingo, myself, Robbie, who wouldn't have been in the Oceania area otherwise. So it's quite a good opportunity for both. And seeing Bondi Beach again was worth the trip itself.
Is that the place to be?
Yeah. I think it's where's it, Sydney? Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's Sydney. The 2 days are like melded into my mind. But yeah, Australia, best beaches in the world. Just watch out for the sharks.
You know what I found out this weekend? There's people who think that the Earth is flat, and then there's also people who think Australia doesn't exist, dude.
Oh, yeah. I tell those people that try and convince me that, I say, look on your phone, Apple Maps, scroll around. It's literally, you wouldn't be able to get to where you wanted to go if that was flat, because it takes curvature into it's like, but science, these people don't care about science. They just want their opinion to be true. So I just gave up trying to convince people.
No, I'm with you. You know what? You're probably better off. We had somebody behind us last night at the show who went from being angry about Aussie Open being from Australia to then telling them to go back to Canada, where I had to turn around and be like, dude, what are you talking about? And he may have been a little intoxicated, and it is very warm in the 2300 arena.
Oh, man. Well, no offense to the other Americans on this podcast, but those types of people are the reasons why the rest of the world is a bit iffy on Americans.
Yeah, you know what? The rest of the world, they have every right to be a bit iffy. It's like it's crazy town over here.
I don't some good places.
Yeah. But for the most part, it's the fucking madness. It's just like an action movie. It's crazy over here.
It's Hollywood 24/7. I mean, I was telling Lewis I'm not sure if you know Lewis, but I was telling him the first time that I went to LA, I actually bought a bulletproof vest, which I believe is still here somewhere. Because I believe all the news were like, oh, they're going to kill all the black people. So I was like, oh, shit. Put it on, and then everyone just looked at me like an idiot.
That must have been a pain in the ass to get through customs.
It was tucked up. They didn't even oh wait, no, they bomb checked me for obvious reasons. Brown man with a mustache, but
you didn't always have the mustache.
No, it was people want to. I noticed the mustache comments on some of my social media feeds. I was trying to copy Sinestro from Green Lantern when I first did this.
It works though, but you work like I don't think I would work with just a mustache. I have to have the full.
Yeah, it's a tribute to my dad and my uncle used to do this type of mustache, so that's the only reason why I do it. Along with Sinestro. Sinestro is a badass.
Do you think we can get Will to grow a mustache? Just a mustache?
I don't know. I think he suits he could probably do it as a joke. He loves the joking sort of thing. he suits funny. The what's his name? Tom Hardy. He suits the Tom Hardy look.
Oh yeah, he does. That's a good comparison. I was just watching his when you joined before we started. I was watching his. He gave a little update from the road about he's obviously cleared, but he's not feeling 100%. Which is it's as a wrestling fan, he's being very transparent, and I appreciate that. It's nice that he can take to social media and kind of air his concerns. He's obviously been in the game a long time, and he's put his body through hell for us, and
Yeah.
It's appreciated that he can be transparent, and
That's
we've all
one of the good things about Will is that he's always Will. He never changes who he is just to like make other people feel comfortable. I like that he's unapologetically himself all the time, which is good. It's one of the I think it's the course of integrity that made me want to join United Empire in the first place.
and all that money from all them wins. Let's not come on.
And merch
Man.
sales. We are beating Bullet Club by a country mile on merch sales.
I'll tell you what, man, they did a piss poor. I was not happy with the merch stand at DC and Philadelphia. They had
Really?
no Aussie Open T-shirts.
Wow.
It's kind of a bummer.
They probably sold out, to be honest, because after Ryogoku, they just flooded.
I mean, rightfully so, but come on, man. Enough with the Bullet Club.
Oh, man, it's a bit lame. Like 10 years ago, they were the coolest thing in wrestling, but now it's sort of like, I think there's too many people and there's too many Indians, not enough chiefs there.
Yes, I agree. And let's just say this: House of Torture. Fucking rocks, guys. Come on. Enough House of Torture.
I haven't seen a group so universally hated in the world before.
It's the worst part of my viewing experience. Every time they're on my screen, I want to throw my TV out the window. It's the same thing. Garrett, Wrench. We need like 4 referees. You guys finally neutralized the whole thing during the New Japan Cup, and then you got your victory here at Sakura Genesis.
All right. Here's a poll for your stream. Chase Owens and Bad Luck Fale or House of Torture?
I'm gonna. Oh man, you know what? That's a rough one because I've sat through my fair share of Bad Luck Fale G1 matches, and they're just as bad as the tag matches. But House of Torture is the worst. Dick to go is everywhere.
Dick to go. Although, like, so I learned about him last year whenever he first came to New Japan, and I didn't know much about him before, so I went and studied him and the shit that he did back in the day, man. The top rope senton and stuff, like. He was insane, but I think he's just choosing to go the other route now.
Yeah, the Dick to go that was on the first ever ECW pay-per-view is not the Dick to go today, and I don't like the Dick to go today.
He's probably making more money now.
100% he is. I still don't like him though. I hate the House of Torture. So we're on the road to Dontaku. It looks like it's going to be United Empire versus TMDK for the duration of the tour. And then you guys get that match at Dontaku on the 3rd. Does it help you in preparation knowing that you're going to see a lot of the same faces for this tour?
I'm one of the people that doesn't check my matches unless it's a major match, like for example, the New Japan Cup or the G1. I usually just, because I'm one of the people that if I know it's coming up, I'll be preparing for 10 days in advance just for this match. That's just who I am. So when it comes to the smaller series, unless it's been announced that I have a challenge or unless there's a champion on the other side, I just chill and I just go with the flow sort of thing. But I think Kushida's having a match for the Impact title, isn't it?
They had one last night, yes.
Last night. So who won?
He did not win.
Oh, he didn't win. Okay, so I was thinking, man, if Kushida wins, I've got Kushida quite a few times. If I pin him, then technically I get a shot at that belt. But since that's not the case, I'm not sure who the other people. I haven't really looked at the cards, but I know there's Kushida and Kevin Knight and Shota.
Yeah. At Dontaku on May 3rd, it's Kevin Knight.
Those ones are massive. It's like a big festival in Japan, all building up to like the most important day in Fukuoka. So these are like the little cultural nuances that Western fans miss out on. These are like huge shows.
Yeah, it's hard to explain to wrestling fans who aren't familiar with New Japan the beauty of these road to events.
Yeah,
and just you get to see all the guys, the stories, and then you're watching other stories progress that maybe were not there at the beginning of the road to, but now all of a sudden you're like, holy shit, this makes perfect sense. And we've watched this progress to this point.
Yeah.
Like you guys against the United, the TMDK, and then we're going to get Knight and Kushida Umino against Henare, TJP, and Akira at Dontaku. And obviously there's the the underlying feud for the IWGP Junior Tag Team titles.
Tags, yeah.
Kevin
I
Knight.
think the boys have got it. They're quite a good team, and TJ has just been like a massive mentor for Akira. It's like Akira came in and he got the cheat sheet right away because TJ is so damn knowledgeable. Even a lot of the stuff I've been doing recently has been from TJP. A lot of the more brawlery stuff is advice from him, just to go fully who you are.
Now he's giving you advice in the ring. Now, who's giving you the advice on commentary? Because you sat in on some commentary, and you're goddamn good at commentary.
Yeah, no, that was all me, bro. I'm not sure if you could tell from this conversation, but I'm a very analytical, very my thinking's very step-by-step logical processing. That's just who I am in person. I like I'm analytical. I'm an INTJ in the 16 personalities test. Yeah.
Is that a Kevin Kelly call? Does he come to you and say, "Hey, would you like to sit on commentary with me tonight?"
Yeah, I think he went to all of the foreigners during the New Japan Cup. I think he just wanted to try everybody out, test everybody where he is. But I think my skills are mainly from all the like rugby. Rugby is sort of like the main commentary I listen to, and it's all play-by-play, analyzing the plays, analyzing the people. And that's exactly what I did at Nagoya when I was there. But I'd love to do it more. First multi-commentator in the world.
I thought it was very insightful with your MMA background and
yeah,
it, it's almost, it was like when Taz was doing commentary for the WWE. Like, he was a wrestler, he had the background, like, and you were doing the same thing, because you have that experience explaining why someone is doing this move, how this move works, and and not everybody's good at that.
A lot of what's lost for the Western fans, because they don't get that. If you listen to the Japanese, they explain all that little thing, but with the Western fans, it's more about the story itself. Whereas the Japanese, it's play-by-play sports, analyzing. This is for example, Shingo grabbed my Achilles in the match, the one that I injured, and then the Japanese commentary mentioned that. And it's 6 years ago, 7 years ago, he snapped his Achilles. So sort of that tying all the stories up. And then when I mentioned with the nuances between Naito and Chase, that Chase likes to close the space between your joints. Naito likes to open the space between your joints. So those little things that actually make the technical aspects of what a wrestler does make sense.
Yeah, and I think at the G1 last year, they told that story of your Achilles too.
Yeah, I mean, Zach wrenched the shit out of my Achilles, man. I actually haven't taken my boots off in a match since the Achilles injury until the Zach match last year.
Yeah, if there's anyone you don't want wrenching at your Achilles, it's Zach.
He's good, man. He's probably, to me, he's pound for pound the best in the world because he is that old school catch wrestler style, British wrestling style. And it's sort of because wrestling has evolved so much elsewhere around the world, that British style is sort of, he's made it his own, and nobody else wrestles the way he does.
No, I agree 100. I think he's the best wrestler in the world, and I love his wrestling. But my favorite thing that he does is when he just says, "You dickheads."
Dickhead. I like it. I like the guy. He's very, very intelligent as a person as well. You can tell how intelligent he is because he's not on social media.
There you go. That's I don't know how you you athletes and you professional deal with it. Like I do a rinky dink podcast, and I'm like, I'm good, man. I'm punching out for the day. I've seen enough nonsense. I got bigger things to worry about than.
Yeah. I cut some slack from Twitter over the last year over the books and stuff, but it got to me at first, and then I was like, hang on a second. They don't actually know what they're talking about. They're dogging me about stuff that I haven't even read or haven't even done. It's more of the hate on Twitter. Not wrestling, but everything in general is just from assumptions and assuming you feel this way about me or feeling you feel this way about somebody else. It's just like high school girl gossip is all it is.
Yeah, it's a very, very toxic environment. It's easy when you're hiding behind a keyboard.
Yeah. I don't even think most of the hate that people put on there is real. I think it's just them trying to entertain themselves during the day.
They're looking for somebody to acknowledge them or a block, and then they've made
yeah. I mean, my block list is about 200 strong right now, Just
I
not
don't know.
even for attacking me. Just anything I see negative, I just block, block, block,
I was
block,
going to
block.
say, I don't know what there is to attack. First of all, I wouldn't go attack you. You're horrifying. God forbid you come across Aaron Henare in a dark alley and he finds out you've been fucking with him on Twitter. It's a wrap.
Hey, you come to me, I'll challenge any of you to a chess match. 3 minutes, I will beat you in a chess match, and I'll put money towards it. Don't need a fight or a chess match, either one, your choice.
You know, I've never played chess.
Wrong guy on the podcast. No, I'm a chess nerd, man.
That's good. I just never played. I don't understand it.
Let's go. I mean, that's probably why the commentary is very like step by step. Like I'm just that's how my mind works in that manner.
Do you have like a chess foe in the locker room?
No, nobody wants to play. I keep asking people, do you play chess? Do you play chess? Nobody plays. I
Do
mean,
they
I
know
think
that you're going around saying you're a chess genius? Maybe that's why.
no, I don't. I want them to think I suck. My dream is to put a chessboard in every locker room, put $500 next to it, and then we just play 3 minute for $500 each.
It's a lot of money you're throwing. That's United Empire money's nice. Nelly, you better give me a cut of that United Empire money.
Yeah, that's another good thing about keeping United Empire exclusive is that the money cuts are a lot better.
Hey, I'm all here for. I'm for it. But you guys are always looking for new members. Obviously, you mentioned Dan Maloney. Is there? Will there be a New Zealand branch of the United?
I mean, I do run a company in New Zealand called Warrior Wrestling New Zealand, or Aotearoa. The real name for New Zealand is Aotearoa. We don't really call it New Zealand, but we have a bunch of Samoans, bunch of Tongans, bunch of Maori that wrestlers, and we're trying to build the scene there. They actually draw more than any other company in New Zealand. But getting Osprey's sign off to bring people in will be a different problem, different issue. He's easy when he's in the UK. All the Aussie boys were in the UK with him every day. Dan Maloney's in the UK with him every day, so he could see everybody. I believe he met Akira in the UK as well, and then they met again over here before Akira joined.
You wear a lot of hats, Aaron. You wear a lot of hats. You're a wrestler. You're involved in this. You're doing the chess thing.
I like to keep busy. Yeah, and obviously you can't wrestle for 50 years unless you're like Ric Flair or something. But the way I wrestle, you can't wrestle for 50 years. But outside of wrestling, I do a lot of things. Like I do coaching for young men, at-risk youth, back in New Zealand. With the promotion I run in New Zealand, we actually get youth groups in to come do the trainings, do wrestling. Because I myself, I was a at-risk youth as well, so risk of like gangs and from a poor area, not many opportunities. So making it this far, going back home and giving them these opportunities, these pathways is a big deal to me. So I actually trained a few guys up to go to the Fale Dojo, and there's 3 of my guys at the Fale Dojo now.
It should be a big deal. It's nice to see that you've gotten out of the situation you were in. You have made something of your life. You're successful. To give back is very important. I think more people need to recognize.
I mean, that's the same with Fale as well. He sort of taught me that when he was coming up. Because he succeeded, so it's his duty to help other people succeed underneath him. But we're doing real well, and there's the best production in the country. Nowhere near as big as New Japan or anything, but it's on its way, building itself up. Australia is another big territory that's just blowing up right now, with good production, good wrestlers are coming out, and even in the WWE, they're just hunting out for Australian wrestlers now.
We got and now this is going to air this afternoon. Tonight on the show, we have a New Zealand dojo guy, Shepard Alexander.
Oh shit! Yeah. That guy. I think that guy was a policeman, and then he quit that job to come try wrestling. But I was smoking cigars with that guy in Melbourne the last night before coming back to Japan.
No, he's going to be on the podcast tonight.
Oh, cool. He's good, man. He's quite good. He's one of the more well-conditioned guys there, and one of the tougher minds there as well.
Well, I'm excited to talk to him and introduce a whole new fan base to.
Yeah, I mean, most of those I don't know what it is with Aussies, but they just get it. They're just really good with coming in. I mean, you got guys like Robbie, Mikey Nichols, Shane. the Aussie Open guys. Then there's the bunch of guys in the WWE now, like Grayson Waller, Bronson Reed, Rhea Ripley. These just all of these. It's like Australia's like a new machine that's just pumping people out, man. It's great.
You love it. Hey, you mentioned Mikey and Shane, TMDK. Are we gonna get?
Mm.
I want to see Aaron Henare clash with Bad Dude Tito.
Yeah, you're not the first person that's said that. So I was hoping that he would be on this next tour, but I think because the cards are so stacked, like there's so many people on the cards, they couldn't add one more guy in, because it would have made them have one more person every show. So I think that's the reason why Bad Dude Tito. But we've tussled quite a few times before. He's probably got the toughest frog splash I've ever taken in my life. My ribs were smashed from it, and it was actually Philadelphia. Yeah, last year.
Yeah, he's got the look.
He is a badass. He's like, to me, he's like a modern day Scott Steiner. Just you look at him, you're like, oh, bro, like a Mexican Scott Steiner.
Yeah, my buddy sitting next to me who likes wrestling, and he knows, the big players in New Japan. But last night he looked at me, he goes, "That dude's got to be huge in Japan." I go, "They got to get him over there more often, and he will be."
Yeah. It's been rough with all the tourists and the foreigners. Like processing visas has been real difficult recently.
Yeah, it's interesting stuff that we don't ever get to really hear about is how all this stuff has affected you guys. And you said it 9 times between New Zealand and Japan with the 2-week quarantine. That's that's almost a quarter of the year you're in quarantine.
Yeah, and so it was like you weren't allowed to sweat. So this is before all the proper research with COVID came out, but they were just taking every precaution. I almost got put in jail because I was doing this outside.
That's it.
And just stretching. I was just stretching outside. So you get 10 minutes free time every day, and the facilities are monitored by the Army, the police, the Air Force, immigration, and private security. So it was a legitimate detention camp, and you weren't allowed to. You only had a certain amount of time outside every day, and you had to check in and do tests every day. So it was pretty annoying.
How do you keep your mental health in a positive space when you're confined to a room for 23 hours and 50 minutes?
I'm very, very stubborn, but I was sort of doing it as an act of defiance. Sort of like I was just pretending to be Nelson Mandela when he was in his prison. He was just like, "I am the shepherd of my fate. I am the shepherd of my fate." But every great man got locked up like that. Not saying I did anything wrong. I didn't get arrested or anything.
But, just the pandemic.
But then again, it's like if you're willing to do anything to live your dream life, would you be willing to do it? Most people wouldn't, but I was willing to do it. So to me, it was just another sacrifice to get this job.
And it's working great for you. 2023 is on the upswing for you.
Worked out, but the stress caused a lot of hair to fall out.
Oh no, really? You just shave it, man.
Yeah. So I mentioned it on a different cast, but I've got a big secret coming up in June. This is going to be gone, but I think American fans are going to love it. I think that's all I'll say for now.
I thought we were going to get more. I thought you were going to get a scoop. All right, I'm excited for June. Obviously, I don't want to look past wrestling Dontaku because that's a big event. But obviously, after that, we're into G1 season, and every year we've seen you progress. Do you know if you are going to be in the G1 this year?
Nobody's been told yet. But with the performances that our generation have been doing since last year G1, it'll be weird if I'm not in it. And people like me, people like Shota, people like Narita, Hikuleo, like our generation of guys. I mean, I think I did all right last year, and I think I've done all right all of this year leading up to it. If I'm not in it, I'll be surprised. But there's also Osaka Joe, the big Osaka show before G1. It's another opportunity to earn that match, which is what happened last year. I didn't even know I was in the G1 last year until Osaka Joe. So I found out when all the fans found out, and I was next to the TV, like, "Hey, what the hell?" I'm like, "Oh, cool, man. Hell yeah, G1."
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna. God damn, it's early here in the States, so I
Yeah.
apologize.
Sorry.
No,
This is
look, this is well worth it to. And again, I can't thank Kieran enough for sending me in your direction, because
he's
as
good. He's a good man.
he's
We
I don't
sent
know
him
how
a big. We sent
I
him
don't
a
know
big
how
United Empire happy birthday.
yes, I his fiance reached out to me as well, and I said I've been doing this for a long time.
Mm.
Uh, I will reach out on behalf of you. So I got him the Kenny Omega one, which he was
Good.
over the moon about. But yeah, he's just such a. I don't know how he does a podcast with me every 2 weeks because I'm like a maniac. But he
It's
is.
always good. We have to have maniacs in society.
You got to balance it out, right? I bring a lot of entertainment.
Yeah.
He's the New
And
Japan.
ideas. The maniacs are the ones with the best ideas.
I wouldn't go that far. I mean, I'll wake my wife up and you could tell her I got good ideas, but she's going to tell you no shot. No shot.
Oh, yeah.
So let me ask you this: we're getting ready for G1. Oh, that's what my thought was. It's back to your point about your generation with the Hikuleos and such. It's great that we've got to see the Kojimas and the Nagatas and the Big Tom Ishis, but I think it's we had to because of the pandemic. I think we saw a little bit too much of all these guys. It's nice to see this next generation. It's very refreshing. The Aaron Henares, the Hikuleos, the Shota Umanos, Yuya. Maybe Yuya comes back from excursion. We throw him in there. It's nice to get some fresh faces, different matchups. Is there somebody you've yet to get an opportunity to tangle with in New Japan that you're kind of chomping at the bit?
At the start of the year, I would say Okada. Then the surprise match was sprung on me. So he was the one I was really wanting to wrestle with, and then that happened straight away. So I'm like, wow. But I still want to have that singles match with Ishii because the first time we had the singles, I was pretty much still a young boy, didn't really know what I was doing. But I think now would be a lot different, a lot more entertaining for the fans, and I'm a lot tougher now. So
No,
definitely the Ishii match.
I want it. I want it bad. Let's do it. Don't miss that Tom Ishii.
And he, Shingo, and Goto are like my three favorite guys to wrestle. I mean, they're the type of guys that the style. I like the style that they wrestle, and they like the style I wrestle. So
You don't
that's
want to wrestle
pretty
like
complimentary.
you don't want to wrestle like a Yujiro Takahashi. Just like take it easy on yourself. You got to pick like the three biggest dogs in the yard.
Yeah, the bigger the dog, the more motivated you are to fight. These guys like Yujiro and Honma. It's like I could beat these guys, but I could also kill them, and everybody will hate me, sort of thing. But then you watch them, they could barely move side to side. It's just embarrassing. Like I just find something else to
the
do.
legend killer.
Who's that? Sorry.
We could make you the legend killer.
Well, Yujiro Takahashi and Tomoaki Honma. I don't know if legend can be applied to them, but definitely someone like Nagata. I mean, I've already. I made a promise when I came to United Empire that I'm going to pin every single guy in Hontai, and I've done that. I don't think I've missed anybody in Hontai.
It's a pretty big accomplishment. With the state of the professional wrestling industry 2023, I mean, we got Forbidden Door, which New Japan's clearly going to be a part of. We got, I think there's going to be a New Japan presence at the All Out event in the UK.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Oh, and then of course, All Together was just announced with New Japan and All Japan and Noah.
Yeah.
Is it something on your checklist where you want to be a part of all these historic events?
With all of those, like especially all the events around the world, it's a wrestler's market right now. All the fans have been locked down with the same people in every different area for the last 3 years. So there's a demand for wrestlers reaching out and going everywhere. Although there's one thing more important to me in June than the Forbidden Door show. I've actually requested not to be in Japan or America for that one. So I'll be going back to New Zealand for something quite special. Exactly what I was telling you about before, but I won't spoil it yet.
Interesting. All right. I like the teaser.
Probably doesn't mean much to anyone outside of New Zealand, but it's like...
well, let's make it mean something to those people.
I think, the WWE fans right now that are following the Roman Usos would probably understand it, but yeah, it's important. It's going to make life hell in Japan, but it's important.
All right, I'm excited to see what's next for Aaron Henare here. This is exciting.
Yeah. So if they need me for Forbidden Door, I'm going to be asking for a big fat guarantee to leave New Zealand.
Fair. You know what? That's fair enough. It's important to you.
Well, the all out event and the all together event, I'll definitely love to be a part of those. There's definitely like all out is AEW as well, right? They're like the main, yeah. So I said before, guys like Cesaro and Miro Rusev, I'd love to wrestle those guys at some point. And there's quite a few people in America, but the all out event like Kitamiya, the Noah guy, would be a good fight to have, I reckon. And Takashi Sugiura is another one that I've always wanted to wrestle.
I think
it's pretty much the tough guys in each separate company, the BMFs in every company.
It's fun to see, the history of New Japan and All Japan and Noah, and now they get, someone was like, hey, we can make a lot of money if we just work together. The stuff with Okada and Kiyomiya was was out of control. It was awesome, and it was a side of Okada that I don't think us fans have really got to see. Like he was a bastard motherfucker. He was out to kill.
But he straight after the match, he got up and just went to the locker room straight away. There wasn't any prancing around. No, he wasn't being Rainmaker, man. That guy was being Kazuchika.
Yeah. So it's with. I think I'm not out of line saying this with New Japan. I don't think the story's over. I think we're gonna, when we get to Wrestle Kingdom next year, I think we're gonna see another chapter.
I think these guys are gonna go at it until Okada finally steps down. I don't think it's gonna stop anytime soon. When you know how Japanese people think, they never forget. They never forget a loss. They never forget a battle. It's gonna keep going. I guarantee you, it's gonna be longer than 5 years.
I hope so. It's some of the best stuff they've done. So it was a lot of it was a lot of fun to watch, man. And I'm a New Japan guy, and I'm not super familiar with pro wrestling, Noah. But it gets you invested in that product, and you kind of get familiar with some of the guys there. So it's a win-win for everybody.
Yeah. I mean, how it works in Japan is it's sort of like it's like a baton. All Japan was at the top, and then they passed it to Noah during like the 90s, and then back to New Japan, and it's sort of just like a cycle between those three over the years within Japan, and then all the indies underneath them. No indies can stack up to any of those three companies. Right. But right now, the company that owns Noah also owns DDT, so they're sort of one entity now.
You mentioned earlier, you asked about Kushida and the Impact title, and then they also announced yesterday they will be doing another Multiverse United New Japan Impact in August here in the States. Is I think an Aaron Henare Moose match would be a lot of fun.
Ooh, yeah, that was cool. I watched this. Was it Jeff Cobb was the last one, right?
Yes, Jeff Cobb.
Yeah, that'll be great. I mean, that'll be cool. I'd love to do one of those matches. I've never actually worked Impact before. Because like I said, I usually just elect to stay in Japan most of the time. But I mean, getting out there and having action with these guys, I love a scrap. If I could get paid to go have a scrap anywhere in the world, I'd go.
Do you ever the United Empire, Aussie Open, Jeff Cobb? Do you ever just step back and look at these guys and just go, these guys are the stuff Jeff Cobb does. He is the size of a house and he moves like Rey Mysterio Jr. It is I can never get tired of watching a Jeff Cobb match. And here you are, you're either on the apron or at ringside watching him. Do you ever just take a step back and be like, man, this is amazing?
Yeah, it's just strength, eh? He's just like, I mean, he is an Olympian. You got to remember he's an Olympic athlete. So when you remember that, it's not so surprising. But to fresh eyes, they're always like, "Holy shit, this guy!"
I mean, they're
You
not
know,
doing standing moonsaults in the Olympics.
yeah. But then again, he was only 84 kilograms in the Olympics, so he's about 120 now, I think. But that's good. But what I like about United Empire is that each of us has like our own little traits that were stronger than. Like me, my striking. I reckon I could outstrike anyone. I reckon Jeff Cobb can outthrow anybody. Osprey can outpace anybody. Akira's evasive. Like he and TJ are the most evasive guys ever. So I like that we're all got all of these little things. Okan can piss off the crowd anywhere. Every show in Japan, he tells them, "Bow down, peasants." That's funny.
Mean, he is the great Okan. So
The hero, the Japanese hero on the news, Great Okan.
oh, the stuff he does is amazing. It's amazing.
And people forget he's a 10-sport MMA, jiu-jitsu, judo champion as well.
When they do something like the New Japan Cup or the G1, right? Let's say this year the G1 block, there's a fellow United Empire member in that block. Is that a concern to you, or do you guys just, may the best man win?
Yeah, it's sort of like with the Mark Davis Will Ospreay match. It's not so much, and we had a tag league match, Great Okan and I versus Aussie Open. It's more steel sharpens steel sort of thing.
Okay.
Was that if I put in the best and you put in the best, no matter who wins, we're both going to get better. It's that sort of thing. I really hope. Like I'd love to wrestle like a Jeff Cobb, like just the stylistic, the striker versus the grappler, the thrower. It would be pretty cool. Or someone like Will that we don't get to wrestle very often, if at all. It'll be cool to have a match with him.
Interesting. I like that. I'd be
and like we've seen with the New Japan Cup when Will got injured, that gave Davis an opportunity to come up. So it's win-win for the United Empire no matter what, right?
Yeah, no, 100%. The United Empire is firing all cylinders. But do just 5 guys now, they're pretty strong, and Sonata has had a pretty incredible run.
Yeah. I mean, he's the champion now, and I've got a few pinfall victories over him, so that's pretty cool. But I had those few singles matches with Sonata in the last few years, last year as well, and he's always been good. He's always been better than everyone gives him credit for. But it's just that he makes it look like he doesn't care, which is why people think he doesn't care. But it's all about appearances. I've always thought he's had everything it took, despite all the people doubting him, despite the office not thinking that he could make it. He's done it now.
He looks like a very, now with the whole new look, he looks like a very young Minoru Suzuki.
Yeah, that's why everybody said he's aged in reverse by 10 years just by cutting his beard and cutting his hair and changing his gear.
Yeah, he really has. It's unbelievable. He looks great with the title too.
Yeah, he's always been good, and he was another person that helped me get up there with all the changes to United Empire. He was the first sort of challenge that I had there. So yeah, I've always known that he's good, but now everybody knows it.
Well, hopefully everybody knows about Aaron Henare. You could follow him on his social media at HanareNZ, Twitter, Instagram. He's doing great things over there in the United Empire. We've taken up so much of your time tonight, this morning. It's greatly appreciated. I hope you had a good time. Man.
Yeah, it's good. It's I don't really talk to people day to day that often, so it's pretty good to actually socialize and see perspectives on what's happening around the world in wrestling, and then find out some of the matches that I have next tour.
I was trying to figure out when we were setting this up the other day, the time difference.
Yeah.
It must have been crazy late in the morning for you, no?
Yeah, it would have been 3 or 4 a.m. I haven't had much sleep. I mean, I go to sleep at 4 a.m. sometimes. It's when you come back from tour, your body doesn't know when it could relax and when it's in relaxed mode or when it's in tour mode. So it takes a while to get used to.
Interesting. Yeah, because it's like I work in a restaurant. So like,
oh, wow.
It's like 100 miles an hour. And then I get home and I don't go to bed at like 2, 3 o'clock in the morning either. Because I just have to, you have to come down. There has to be,
Yeah. Well, that
even,
come down isn't like from the tour. The come down takes days to get.
I can only
get through.
imagine.
Yeah.
Because you guys are wrestling, and you're probably taking a bus, and it's a long ride, and you got to be up and down. And
the traveling is more difficult than the matches itself.
you know what? I could see that 8 hours on a bus and then a 20-minute match. Yeah.
Yeah. Or the New Beginning tour when we did the Australia tour. So I did half of New Beginning. Flew to Australia, did the 2 shows there, and then flew for the second half of the New Beginning tour. So that messed me up, man, in terms of sleep. With an 8-hour stopover in Singapore.
I really don't. I think that is more impressive than what you guys do in the ring is the travel. Because man, I travel. If I have a travel, like I need a full day afterwards just to recover.
Yeah.
Not even to do it, just to get up and go to the supermarket. I got a full day to recover. You guys are just go, go, go.
Yeah, it's insane, man. But got to do what you got to do what you want to do.
Yeah, the mindset works for Aaron Henare. For Shining Wizards Matt, I want to go back to bed.
Thanks for giving the time as well. It's been cool.
Oh, please, Aaron, this has been an absolute pleasure.
Finally communicate with the Western fans because I'm stuck in Japan and New Zealand most of the time. I don't really get to speak to you guys, so you guys can know the real Aaron Henare rather than all the social media rumors.
Well, I got one last question because I ask every guest this question before we go. When was the last time you shit your pants?
I don't think it really counts. I just forgot to wipe in the hotel after a show one day. Okay. So I guess it counts. I sat down on the bed and I was like, what the hell? I don't know if people answer as seriously as I just did.
Oh, they do.
That's the truth.
All the guys answer. The ladies, not so much.
Yeah, I don't think it counts, but not wiping. That was last tour. because I was playing chess, I was just like on the
on the phone, chess on the phone. You lose track of time.
Yeah, man.
Did you win that match though on the chess?
Yeah. I made the elite league in Asia Pacific region, so good. It was worth it. It was worth the self-embarrassment.
There you go. Well, it wasn't embarrassing until now. He just told everybody.
It's good.
It's a theme on the show. We have a couple guys that,
That's cool, man. People that can't take the piss out of themselves take themselves too seriously.
That's it. We're just hanging out. We're just shooting the shit. Not everybody does it, but sometimes you think you're gonna fart and then you shit your pants. It happens.
Shots.
Yeah, it's a shot. People, you like, when's the last time you shit your pants? Like, oh, don't shit my pants. I'm like, no, not like a fucking log. Like, you fucking shart it, man. If you're pooping your pants like that, you have bigger issues. If you're pooping like,
oh man,
if you're taking a
dump, heard was it Mr. Perfect that went underneath the ring? I think it was Mr. Perfect. Yeah. So that's the best shit story I've heard.
I've heard some good. Ethan Page tells a good one. He told us a good one where he was like a door-to-door salesman, and he shit his pants and he clogged the guy's toilet.
Ethan Page, is he Canadian?
Yes, he is.
He used to train at the Folly Dojo, I believe.
Oh, really?
Yeah. He was a trainer there for, I think it was 2018 or 2019, one of those years. He was the trainer.
Good, all full circle.
Yeah. Good wrap up, man. That was a good throwing his name in there to wrap up the full story.
I didn't know it was going to come together like that. I was not aware of the Ethan Page connection.
The serendipity.
Now we're done here. It's like 10 o'clock in Japan. Do we get like a late night snack? Do you go to Ribera?
Usually fruit and magnesium before sleep, and that usually takes me a few hours to wind down, and then bam, out till about 11:30 a.m.
All right, cool. Well, Aaron, this has been an absolute pleasure. Anything you want to say to your fans before we let you go here? No,
it's just that I'm definitely. I know a lot of people have been discounting me and all, but this is the year we get gold. I know it. I could just taste it. been working hard for too long. So it's got to be there.
Well, I'm rooting for you. Like I said, me and Kieran on the Bread Club on Fightful Overbooked, we think 2023 is the breakout year for Aaron Henare. And if the first 4 months haven't been any indication of it, I don't know. I don't know what will be, because you are just crushing it, man.
Yeah, man. Let's do it. Let's keep going. Let's keep working.
We're gonna keep going. We're gonna keep working. Follow Aaron on his social medias at Henare NZ. He might not be super active. He might not interact with you because you're being a turd, but he posted support of the United Empire. He's got great pictures up there of the boys. We're throwing up the crowns. Check it out. Follow him. Support him. And we expect big things in New Japan for 2023 for Aaron. And, you know, if you're not following him, you're not going to know what's happening in June. Right? So just follow for that. That's a tease in itself. Maybe he's shaving his head. Maybe he's growing a beard. Maybe he's got a third arm that we don't know about. I don't know. But you got to follow him on social media to find out.
It's better than all of those things you just listed.
Come on now. There's more teases, people. This is ridiculous. You got to follow this guy. Aaron, this has been an absolute pleasure. Thank you for taking time. Thank you for watching and listening out there in the Shining Wizards community. We appreciate everything. Remember to like, rate, review, subscribe, and we'll see you guys soon with some more bonus.
Crowds up.